Hello and welcome to the Daily Meal for Sunday the 20th of February 2021. Today is Stats Sunday. We're going to go through the stats from yesterday's game, but I've got a feeling it's not going to be very helpful because we were playing quite a unique style of football, if you could call it that. And here you go. Let's have a look at this. So, Barnsley 2, Millwall 1 was the score. The expected goals was 1.9 to Barnsley, so they outperformed their expected goals. Mill's expected goals was 0.4 according to this website. This website is Experimental 361, and as you can see, Barnsley, the red line is Barnsley, the blue line is Millwall, the circles are goals, and Barnsley scored on their first shot on goal. And Millwall scored on their first shot on goal, and it was pretty much end-to-end counter-attack fest, except when Barnsley came at us, they usually ended up having at least a shot on goal, but when we went at them, not so good. You can see according to this graph, there was actually a period, not a lot going on in the first half. Did we stop Barnsley from playing? Did we do something to stop them before they figured it out? Because you can see that the flat line is a time when there is no shots on goal, because a shot means the line goes up. All those little stair-like things at the end of the first half, those are all Barnsley's repeated shots on goal. And you can see after they score from their first shot on goal, and then we counter attack, there's a little massive sort of time in the first half when nobody really has a shot on goal. It's kind of end to end, not really getting anywhere, and then we break it by having a shot in about the 28th minute. Only our second shot in the first half, 2 shots in the first half, compared to the 4 in the second half there. And Barnsley make changes in the second half, and then they're away at the races. They can't be caught then. And we didn't really change much. We just kept doing the same thing and hoping it would work, and it clearly did not. Let's move on now. This is infogoal.net, and this is similar, but if you look in the middle under the just above the FT, it's got the expected goals as 1.84 to Barnsley and 0.63 to Millwall, so slightly better there for Millwall. These are the events in the game. 2 cards. Woods got booked, Woodrow got booked, plenty of substitutions. The goal after 2 minutes, a Millwall's reply after 6 minutes, and then their goal again in 59 minutes. And you can see at the start of the second half they made 2 changes, and that changed the game, and we didn't make any changes until 75th minute, when of course we bring on Matt Smith, and then we made even more changes with about 10 minutes to go, although it was 5 minutes, but you knew there was going to be some injury time. So anyway, let's have a look at the lineup, the ratings. Pretty decent ratings there for Barnsley. 4 players with 7s and up, and Woodrow got 8.65, and he was the man of the match. If we go to the Millwall team, Bennett 8.14. Everyone else not so good. Not so good at all. Biakowski 6.51, and then Wallace is 6.12, and everyone else is 5s, with Hutchinson having 5.17. So there you go with that. Substitutes not much better. Some of the substitutes not even doing enough to get a ranking. Podfarson didn't do enough to get a ranking. Bradshaw didn't do enough to get a ranking. Although Ferguson and Bury did, even though they came on at the same time as John Daly. But there you go. Moving on to stats. What does stats say? Here we go. So percentage of possession, 56 to Barnsley, 44 to Millwall. Attempts on target 6-3 to Barnsley. Attempts off target 6-1 to Barnsley. Block shots 3-2 to Barnsley, and goalkeeper saves 2 to Barnsley, 4 to Millwall. We were absolutely battered. Absolutely battered. Total pass is pretty much similar. They don't really pass the ball. They just lump it forward, and then even it doesn't matter if the defender gets it, because they all jump on the opposition players and they win the second balls. That's what they do. They're very good at that. Corners 10-3 to Barnsley. 5 offsides for Millwall, none for Barnsley, because we were playing deep and they were playing high up on the halfway line, and our tactics were just to lump it over all of the players, including Mason Bennett, into the space in their half and get him to run onto it. And there were 5 offsides. Fouls 17 to Barnsley, 9 to Millwall, because they did have to try and stop the counter. So I noticed a couple of times there was fouls trying to do that, trying to stop Millwall breaking away. So there you go. So let's move on to the maps. I know it's not going to look good, but there you can see Barnsley's chances. 2 massive ones, and they were the goals that they scored. The bigger the circle, the bigger the expected goals of the chance, meaning it's a high quality chance. And they had 2 higher quality chances, and they scored them both. They had a vast array of other limited chances. They just completely peppered the goal, and they got their reward. And then you can go and see Millwall's opportunities. We had one good chance that did not go in. That was from Mason Bennett on the 73rd minute. That was a 37% chance. But the one that did go in was the smaller one, which I thought the goalkeeper should have done better with that, but thank God he didn't. There was the goal on 6 minutes, the little one out here. So there you go. And let's have a look at first half. So there you can go there. First half. Mill first half 2 shots. Okay. Second half. Same amount for Barnsley, slightly different. A few more for Millwall. One decent chance, but still not good enough. 2 chances in the area, and they're tiny. Tyler Burry 3%, and Mason Bennett 4%. Not really doing anything to get a decent chance, a decent attempt on goal. So there's that from infogo.net. We're going to move on now to whoscored.com. Whoscored.com, if you've ever seen on Twitter the Championship Team of the Week, they get that Team of the Week from this website, and I'm pretty sure that Barnsley's Miko Elek will be in the Team of the Week, because you can see him there on the right hand side. He's 8.3, probably Mads Anderson as well on 8.2. They're 2 defenders. So let's just have a little look at the match summary. Barnsley created a high number of chances relative to their possession, were effective at creating goal scoring opportunities from set pieces, were strong at finishing. Weaknesses: lost possession often. Styles attacked through the middle, had a high shot frequency when in possession, favoured long balls. And Millwall's strength: stole the ball often from the opposition, were effective at creating goal scoring opportunities from the flanks, were effective at creating goal scoring opportunities from counter attacks. Weaknesses for Millwall: lost possession often, gave away a lot of free kicks around the box, were caught offside often. And Styles played with width, attacked down the left side, favoured long balls. And if you can see, if we're going to scroll down here, actually Mill had a better conversion rate than Barnsley, because we had such a low, pitiful number of shots towards the goal. We had 6 and we scored 1. That's a conversion rate of 16%. But Barnsley, they just completely battered us time and time again. They had 15 shots and they scored 2 goals. So that's a lower conversion rate than we got because it's at 13%. So, but if you look here, attempts 15, Barnsley 6 for Millwall, 7 open play, 3 for open play, 8 set piece for Barnsley, 2 for Millwall, and only 1 counter attack. So that didn't really work. That did not really work, because if you're going to have such a low number of chances, you're going to need better striker to finish them and put them away. If you look down here, this is the positional report, player positions, the average during the game, and you can see the line of 5 Barnsley players just as a wall, and the defense pretty much, see, the 30 is further back than 30 and the 26 further back than the other defenders, and that's because our tactic was just to lump it over all the defenders when they were lined up on the just past the halfway line to stop to cause some offsides, and Mason Bennett was running behind them. And that's why the 30 and the 26 got pegged back a bit. But that's also why, if you look at the goalkeeper, he's so far out, because he had to come out quite a bit to deal with any balls going over the top and stuff like that. But they did what they needed to do, and it was a lot better than what we did. And you can see again, we've got really not got anyone down that right hand side, not causing their players any problem down that wing. So you can see the 4 was basically playing on the halfway line, never had to do any tracking back really, defending in his own half. Marlon Romeo not really doing anything down that right wing, and it once again Jed Wallace playing in the middle, and didn't really work out again because we've got no one going down the wings. But it was a weird game. We set up a way to play, and they played the way they were told to play. So there you go. Let's have a look at pass types. So you can see the pass types pretty much, I've shown you before, they were similar. So 17 crosses for Barnsley, 14 for Millwall. None of them had through balls. 109 long balls for Barnsley, 117 for Millwall. Short passes 239 to 241. So you short pass to get out of trouble until you can do a long ball. Average pass streak 3. So not really a lot of tick-a-tacker going on there. Card situations. Yeah. Cards per foul, 11%. Cards per foul. So even though they had more fouls, yet again, so similar with the shots and goals, they had more fouls but only had 1 card, so that's a 6%. 6% card to foul. We had 9 fouls but got 1 yellow card, and that's 11%, so that's higher as well. I'm going to move on now to player stats. If you look up at the badges, you can see the average from all the players including subs. 6.74 for Barnsley, 6.46 for Millwall. No doubt about it that they were the better team. Not even any question about that. If we look down at, so they've given man of the match to Helik, not Woodrow. Infogold.net gave it to Woodrow. Who Scored gave it to Helik. And quite a high rating there for Mason Bennett, because basically everything in attack went through him. Even so, there wasn't a lot for him to do, but he scored 1 goal. and he had a good number of shots. So there you go. Low ratings for Thompson, Woods, and Evans as well this time. I think that's probably because of just the thing with stats is sometimes if you haven't watched the game, stats aren't really gonna portray what actually happened in the game. And this game, the long balls weren't aimed at anyone, they were aimed over into the space. So the stats are going to say that George Evans did a long ball and it wasn't accurate because he didn't pass it to a Millwall player. That's not what the aim of the tactics that they were told to do by Gary Rowett. They were told to knock it over the top for with a bit of backspin on probably, or I don't know, just knocking into the corners for Mason Bennett to go and run on and get on the end of it and either go towards goal or get stood up and then having to turn back to Malone or Wallace and then for something to come out of that. So players' ratings were probably lower because if you were the one pumping balls over the top, your pass accuracy is gonna be in dog shit. It's not going to be good enough. So let's have a look at total shots, 15-6. So nearly everyone in the Barnsley team except for 3 of the starting 11 had a shot on goal. Mason Bennett had 4, Malone had 1, Bury had 1. And possession, so who had the most possession of the game? You can see Mowat with 7.9 as the highest of the players on the pitch, and for Millwall it is George Evans, 6.7. Okay. Biakowski 5.6, Thompson 1.6. Not getting on the ball at all. Not getting on the ball at all. That's quite low. They did go off, didn't he? He did go off. I think he was the first one to come off. He came off for 65 minutes. So, yeah. Got to factor that in. So pass success percentage 45, average for the whole of Barnsley 45, the whole of Millwall 44. So they weren't passing it to each other, they were just lobbing it forward. That's what was going on there. Just low all round. Like I said, the aim of the game wasn't to pass it to each other. It was to tackle or intercept Barnsley's passing and to lob it forward to over the space for Mason Bennett to run into. There was no passing between Millwall players, but even so, look how low it is here. Romeo 26%, Hutchinson 30%. Probably because they didn't have an immediate outball. Because Bennett was playing kind of on the left of up front. He wasn't playing centre. He was playing on the left of up front. So and Wallace was playing behind him. There was no one. There's very few times that anyone was up in Barnsley's third and on our right hand side. Very rarely that happened. With Mason Bennett being left footed, he wanted to play on the left hand side. So when he broke and got onto the ball, he could just quickly and easily manoeuvre it to get a shot in. So that whole right hand side was a stinker, absolute stinker for Millwall. And you can see in reverse, Barnsley's 76% pass success and Styles for 69. Down their left hand side, our right hand side. Really, really bad. Really, really bad. Anyway, who had the best for Millwall? Pierce 69. Okay. Yeah, okay. Dribbles 6 and 6. Yeah. So because no one was ahead of Romeo, he had to try and bomb down that side a few times. And Williams did a bit as well. Aerials won. Very, very much an aerial battle on the whole of the pitch. That was quite high. I've never seen it that high before. I think it's the highest I've seen in the game. Where you can see here, Bennett with 8 aerials won, Hutchinson 10, Pearce 11. Everyone of the starting 11 for Mill won an aerial except for Wallace. But you can see for Barnsley, they're 2 defenders. The one who had 2 assists and the one who scored. Both won 10 aerials each. And Mowat, the one apparently the player we wanted to sign, who's out of contract in the summer, he had 6. So, but for Millwall, pretty decent. 11 for Pearce, 10 for Hutchinson, 8 for Bennett. Hutchinson, Pearce pretty decent yesterday. Decent in the game before. Not all out of touch. Alex Pearce done alright. So tackles 14 and 16. So pretty. You can see, yeah, down that right hand side. Our right hand side, their left hand side. A lot of action going on down there. Tackling. Hutchinson 4 tackles, Romeo 4. And for them, Morris and Styles 3 and 3. A lot going on down there. Okay, corners. 10. 10 for Barnsley, only 3 corners for Millwall. Didn't really get any chances to get corners. Dispossessed, they were actually dispossessed for more times than we were. No, our defenders weren't dispossessed. But all of our midfield were. They put Romeo as a midfielder here. Yeah, all of the midfield were. Those second balls, they did not win all of them. They weren't quick enough to get on those second balls. When Barnsley pumped it forward and Hutch, Pearce and Evans headed it forward towards the midfield did not get on it straight away. And I told you yesterday, you look at the highlights, look and see what Woods did. Look and see what Woods did for that second goal. It's just abysmal. And special mention to Adi Boyija for Barnsley, come off the bench and got dispossessed 6 times, that's not in any way to impress, but hey, I don't care about that. So let's move on to player stats. It's basically most of the stuff we've just seen, but a little bit more chucked in. So the ratings for Mills, Mason Bennett, Alex Pearce, Marlon Romeo broke 7s, 7.45, 7.2. But Ryan Wood 6.0, worse than Matt Smith and Shane Ferguson. So 2 subs. He was on for the whole match, and he did worse than 2 substitutes who had less time than him. And even George Evans 5.99, worst of the starting 11 out there. Well, not really, because Ben Thompson, but worst player who played all 90 minutes was George Evans, which is a bit of shock. I told you about the long balls. I think we're going to see that now. So shots. So there you go. Scott Malone, one shot on target. Mason Bennett 4 shots on target. Now if the strategy we were playing, he should have had 4 shots on target, and then we might have won. But he didn't. And when you play percentage games like that, you're not going to score that many goals if you have so few chances by playing on the counter with long balls over the top to one man. It's not going to really work out for you. And Tyler Burry, 1 shot when he come on. Only 2 touches, 1 shot. Let's have a look at the touches. So Marlon Romeo, most touches 74. George Evans 63, Scott Malone 60. There you go. There you go. Pass accuracy. Yeah. Not too good at all. 25.8 for Marlon Romeo. Yeah. But we've, like I already discussed that about just lobbing long balls over the top. That's why that's messed up. So offensive. What do we want to look at here? So we want to look at unscheduled touches. That's basically bad control. And here you go. You can see most of the team. Unscheduled touches, bad control that gave the ball to the opposition. 4 for Woods, 4 for Bennett, 3 for Thompson, 2 for Pearce, and Evans, Romeo, Malone, and Wallace. Offsides, who had the offsides? We had Wallace 3, Thompson 1, Matt Smith 1, so Mason Bennett wasn't offside. Anyway, let's move on to defence. So, clearances, no, interceptions. Romeo, Williams, Pearce. Okay. Clearances, 7 from Pearce. That's pretty decent then. So there you can see why Pearce's rating so high. And pretty much most of the players have clearances. Block shots, who had the block shots? Not a lot going on there. Who gave away the fouls? Ryan Woods, 4 fouls. Marlon Romeo 2. So there you go. There you go with that. Passing. Let's have a look at the passing. And like I said before, the long balls over the top, not to anyone, just to the space. That's why the pass is just, the pass accuracy is all messed up. You can see here George Evans. So he's passing, but he's not passing to anyone. Only 41% accuracy, but 48 passes. That's why his rating got tanked. It's not probably indicative of how he played. Specifically, it's just he was the out ball. It's like, okay, they're chasing me down, but let me do a sideways pass to George Evans, and George Evans whack it forward, and that's messed up his rating. But wow, this is something to see. Biakowski, number 3 in Millwall passes, 37. So he had the 3rd most passes yesterday for Millwall, which is absolutely abysmal. You would think the midfielders would be getting in on that, but the way we were playing, that was not how it was going to be. But that is shocking to see him so high there. Also probably indicative of Barnsley's constant attacks. So if they keep attacking, shooting wide, that kind of thing, lobbing balls forward that go out, that would lead to goal kicks, which we'll look at now. Long balls. So yeah, Biakowski 34 long balls, only 9 accurate. That's not good at all. That really isn't good. And then George Evans next with the long balls, 23s, like I said, and then Sean Hutchinson and Marlon Romeo less than that. So George Evans was the outball for that defence. When they were getting charged down, they would pass it to George Evans. George Evans would not. The plan was George Evans would lump it forward. But better accuracy than Bart, but still not. But that's what I'm saying. They weren't aiming to be accurate. They were aiming just to get it in Barnsley's half. It was not going to be accurate. So that's why this is going to be a weird stats Sunday, because it's not indicative of the poor quality of Millwall, because they were set up to play in such a weird idiosyncratic way of literally stop Barnsley, lob it forward. Stop Barnsley, lob it forward. Not to a Millwall player, because Matt Smith wasn't there. No, there wasn't a target man, there was a target area. So these stats, even though I'm making a stat Sunday, I do this every Sunday, these stats are not indicative of how Millwall were playing yesterday. So let's get off of that and let's just end the video here, because this is a really weird stat Sunday where I'm looking at stats to try and see how Millwall players played, and it's giving me a false reading because we played such an idiosyncratic way that I can't really tell. You have to go to the video and watch what actually happened, and like I said, go and watch the highlights to see what Ryan Wood's done. Absolutely appalling. Thank you for watching though. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Bye.